Hello everyone, Brett here, back with another fingerstyle tutorial in my freshly painted studio. Painted it yesterday, so it still smells like paint, but you can't smell anything because you are over there. Anyway, today I know there are a lot of people waiting for this tutorial, and the song that we are going to learn today is called Waiting by Sungha Jung, and this is from the album 2 of Me. I have also done another tutorial of riding a bicycle from the same album. Check it out. Okay, so let's get started. Let's just jump right into it. Let's not waste any more time talking about how nicely freshly painted the studio is, and let's go and learn Waiting. We're going to get started with the introduction, and the introduction sounds like this. Let's get a closer look. So the slow introduction to Waiting is going to start all the way up at the 6th and the 7th frets. The reason why I'm guessing is to have a more open string sound. So to have more of your open strings ringing. Alright, so you're going to have your 4th finger, your pinky finger here on the 4th string 7th fret, and your 3rd finger here on the 3rd string 6th fret. Super important to take these 2 fingers even though they're weaker, because we need to reach down into the 1st fret with your 1st finger. So it just makes it easier to keep this angle and this shift going. Okay, that's the reason why we're going to start out with these fingers. Alright, so you pluck the strings as written in the tabs. And your ring finger does the 1st string, your index finger does the 3rd, and then your thumb can do the bass strings. Like that. So ring, index, thumb, thumb. Then pluck the 1st and 2nd strings. Pluck the 4th string again. And here you'll see the 1. This is where you have to shift back into 1st position. Okay? There you go. Alright, next we're going to head back up into 4th position. Remember how we kept the 4th and the 3rd fingers here? Here's another reason for this low C sharp here that you're going to get with your 1st finger here into the 4th fret. This is another reason why we need to use 3 and 4. So basically the same strumming pattern, except you're going to have your 1st finger here on the 5th string 4th fret. Alright, so shift back into the 1st position, and then reach over with your pinky finger here onto the 5th string 4th fret to get that C sharp note again. There you go. Okay, now we're at measure number 5, and we're going to stay in 1st position. And there's 2 ways you can do with the thumb, stopping this 6th string at the 2nd fret, or you can just use your fingers. You need a finger on the 6th string 2nd fret, 4th string, and yeah, that's it. Just the 6th and the 4th string on the 2nd fret. So and also, sorry, I forgot, the 2nd string needs a note here on this C sharp here. 2nd string, 2nd fret, okay? So this is what it looks like if you have 2, 3, and 4, or you can use thumb, 2, and 3. It's totally up to you. So you have 1st and 2nd strings that you're going to pluck, and then 6th and the 4th strings. Let go of the pinky finger, pluck the 4th string, and then you're going to sneak over, and your 1st finger is going to get this note here on the 3rd string. Alright, and then the last passage, you have a here. It's going to depend on what finger you chose to use on the 6th string. So if you're using your thumb, it's easy because all you need to do is hammer on with your 3rd finger here onto the 3rd string 2nd fret. If you chose to use this finger, you have to hammer on with your pinky finger, and your 3rd finger stays here on the 4th string 2nd fret like we saw before. So it really depends on that fingering, but it's no big deal. All right, so you have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and next you're going to get your E major chord. Okay, the dominant that's going to start off the theme, and you have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then strum up. So what I did here is I just hammered on again onto the 3rd string. As you notice, when I start off here, I start actually on beat number 4. It's a pickup measure, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. That's the introduction rhythm, and you can really take your time, but try to be strict and play with the metronome. Okay, cool. So that's enough for the slow introduction. Let's get into the main part. The main theme, which is verse number 1. Now we're going to look at verse number 1, and verse number 1 goes like this. Let's take a closer look. Verse 1 starts off in 1st position. You're going to have your 2nd and 3rd fingers here on the 4th and the 2nd strings. And you're going to pluck the 5th, 4th, and 2nd strings. So you pluck those on beat number 1. Beat number 2 is a hit. And then you pluck the 2nd string open on the 2nd half of beat number 2. Play the 5th string on beat number 3. Play the 3rd string on beat number 3.5 with your 2nd finger here doing the 3rd string 2nd fret. And then on beat number 4, it's hit, and then play the 5th and 4th strings together. When you hit like this, you're going to make sure that you mute the 4th string, otherwise you're going to hear it when you play it. So make sure you mute the 4th string with your 2nd finger, or just keep it on. And then you can play it later because you're going to play it on the 2nd half of beat number 4. Sungha Jung is quite good at muting these. So if you put it all together, you have your slap, which kicks off rather the verse, and then you start playing 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and cool. All right, we move over to the next measure of the verse. So you tied over, so you wait on beat number 1. 1 and 2, and next you're going to pluck the 2nd, 4th, and 5th strings together. Hammer on into the 2nd fret with your 3rd finger, and then hit and brush across the 2nd and 1st strings, and then pluck the 2nd string with your, you can do it with your middle finger. Okay, so let's put the first 2 measures of the verse together. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, this next part, you have 2 different ways that you can do the fingering. If you do this, and then you end up with your 3rd finger here on the 2nd fret, then you have to use your thumb to get this note here on the 6th string 2nd fret. And your fingering is going to look like this: thumb, 2nd, and 3rd finger. If you don't want to use your thumb, then as soon as you do this, you have to swap and use your pinky finger here. And then you have your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers doing this part. Okay, the reason why you need all of these fingers is because the chord that we're going to have is 6, string, 2nd fret. Then you have 1 over here. You also have 2 over here on the 4th string, so 4th string, 2nd fret. 3rd string, 1st fret, and then your pinky finger here on the 1st string, okay? You have this. Alright, if you use your thumb, I'm not so used to using my thumb, but you can see the advantage here. You have your 2nd finger, 1st finger, and 3rd finger. You don't use the pinky, and your thumb is over here onto the 6th string, 2nd fret. So you have the choice. Make the choice of the fingering that you want to use, and then after that, you just have to pluck the strings. So we have 1 and 2 and 3. Pull off here, and then get the 6th and the 1st strings. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and sweet. All right, very straightforward. You just hold that fingering. Sometimes you have some pull-offs, and then that's about it. All right, this open string here, on the 4th beat of measure number 12, hit open, lets you get into our next chord. This C sharp minor chord here. So your 4th finger, your pinky finger, is over on the 5th string, 4th fret. 2nd finger here on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And 1st finger over here on the 3rd string, 1st fret. So you have this, and then you have this. So sometimes you're going to release your 2nd finger, but keep it close by because it's going to go onto your 4th string, 2nd fret, okay? So it pops over here. So you have it's over here on the 3rd string now. 1, hit, 3, and 4, and. So you saw I moved over here. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. All right, next after that, you have this part. So you have to do, there's a couple different ways, but what I like to do is you pluck the 4th and the 3rd strings together. You move your 2nd finger down 1 to get this note, this A on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then you hit and get the 2nd string open whilst muting these strings with your fingers, okay? Your 4th and your 3rd strings. So 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and next you're going to do a quick hammer on with your 1st finger on the 3rd string here. It's going to hammer on very quickly. And then you're going to pluck the 4th string note, which your 2nd finger has gone back over to get. Okay, so your 2nd finger does a little bit of jumping around. On beat number 4, you slap, and then you play your 2nd and 3rd. You place your 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 5th and the 4th strings. 1 and 2, and you'll recognize this. This is the E major shape. Next after that, you have to do a hammer on with your pinky finger here onto the 3rd string, hammers on, and then pulls off. And on the very last of half of beat number 4, you pluck the 4th string. Okay, so let's look at those 3 measures again, where you have the C sharp shape, okay? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and, 1, move the 2nd finger down, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, cool. We move on to our E major, we stay in our E major shape. And this is what you have to do. So you do some strumming. When it goes faster, you'll recognize it. But you pluck the 6th string first, brush up, brush down, pluck this 6th string again, brush down but mute. I mute with my pinky finger, but there might be a way for you to mute with your palm of this part of your hand, okay? 1 and 2 and 3, and then the and of beat number 3 is plucking the 6th string but being muted. I actually think this works quite well with the palm of the hand because you need this to be able to get back up to this part here, up into the 4th position here with your 4th and 3rd fingers, okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and starts off with the verse theme again, except now, as you've noticed, instead of being over here, we're over at where we were with the slow introduction. Okay, so we're at the end of beat number 16, and we're going to look at that closely. So you see the big change here is that I start off my verse with my 4th and 3rd fingers, like we explained before, and I go over here. So 4th finger, 4th string, 7th fret, 3rd finger, 3rd string, 6th fret. Okay, so we have 1 and 2, pluck the 5th and 2nd strings together, and 4 and 1 and 2 and. All right, next. Okay, continue on going, and thumb position or this position, totally as you wish. Let's start up over here again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F sharp minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 the open string lets us get to this C sharp shape. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We've seen this all before. E major shape. Alright, and then the last thing that you're going to do before the pre-chorus is a lot of strumming kind of like that. 1 and 2 and brush and 4 and. Okay, so the difference here is on beats number 3 and 4, you need to do some muting, and on the very last half of beat number 4, you'll see there is an open string plucked, your 4th string plucked. Super important to get this palm muting thing going on, because the pre-chorus that we're going to see right next does a lot of this. A lot of muting. Okay, so we're going to look at just that measure number 24 very briefly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's it. All right, so now we're going to look at the pre-chorus. The first pre-chorus. Okay, now we're going to look at the pre-chorus, and the pre-chorus sounds something like this. Let's take a closer look. As I explained, just when you're going into the pre-chorus, you need to start getting used to doing this. Alright, this involves a position change of your wrist especially. So you have to rotate your wrist out so this part blocks the strings, and then you play like this with your thumb. After that, your fingers are going to pluck the other strings like this. So you can practice doing that a couple times, okay? So you practice just touching enough to block the bass strings with your palm, but leaving some room here so you can play the open strings and not block them. The treble strings, I mean, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna practice doing that a couple times, and then you'll be ready to start the pre-chorus. All right, so I'm gonna show what the pre-chorus does before the putting everything together with the bass. So what you're going to do is your 3rd and 4th fingers are on the 3rd and 2nd strings at the 6th fret here. They quickly move to the 7th fret. Okay, and then your 1st finger goes over here into the 5th string. Sorry, 5th fret, 1st string. And then you have to play the 3rd and the 1st fingers at the same time, right? Like that. It's a little bit tricky, but you have to make sure you slide quickly and then keep the same pressure, so you do that. Okay, so this is from 6 to 7, the gliss. And then after that, 6, 6, and 8 is like this. So you have a half bar on the 6th fret, like adjust your wrist as you wish. Your half bar is there, and your pinky finger is over here at 8. And it goes quickly from 6 and 8 to 7 and 9. Okay, so I would recommend practicing first these, and this first. Okay, so you practice that. And then after that, you practice going from 8 to 7. 8 to 7 is with your 3rd and 4th fingers. And then your 6 and your 5 are done with your 2nd and 1st fingers, okay? We see that often, so practice those individually. Once you've practiced those, let's put everything together. So you're with the palm muting. Super easy, because this is just going to pluck your 8th notes, and it's going to keep a rhythm for you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that, we move over to this chord. I think you can release the, maybe keep muting. Yeah, you have to keep muting at this point, but now you're going to switch over into the 5th string. Alright, and now you have this chord here. You have your 3rd finger on the 6th fret, 3rd string, and then your 1st finger is on the 1st string, but at the 4th fret, okay? So you have this on beat 4, and then on the end of beat number 4, you play this A major 7 chord. 4 and 1, pull off, play the 2nd string, and then play the 5th and the 3rd strings at the same time. So 1 and 2 and 3. Next you have a series of harmonics on the 7th fret, on the 7th fret, and the 12th fret, okay? First string, second string, and then your 12th fret on the first string. Make sure you get these harmonics with your pinky finger, and you're allowed to move around and release whatever you've been holding here, okay? So you otherwise it's too hard for you to do the plucking, and you can't do the harmonics with your right hand. They must be done with the left hand. Okay, so you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so the and 4 and, as you see, I've gotten back and I got this A major 7 chord. I do it with 3 and 2. You can also do it 3 and 4 and 3, but I would recommend 3 and 2 because after that we have to go back to this D major chord with the sliding, okay? Yeah, here at the 6th fret. Okay, so let's look at that. So you have the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, slide, 2. Here, after that, you have just 9 and 10. So you can do 9 and 10 with your 3rd and 4th fingers. Slap, and then after that, you're going to get this chord, kind of like an A9 chord. So you have your 3rd and your 4th fingers over here into the 9th fret. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so what happens there is that you have this chord here, you're going to pluck at the 9th fret, and then you just follow the rhythm. When you have your arrows and the X with the arrows, you hit and you strum across the treble strings. You don't have to mute anymore at this part. The muting only happens when you have the sliding parts. So in measure number 31, we're not going to mute anything. And then your this is going down from 9 to 7 to 6. Let's look at that from the 4th beat of measure number 30. So we have here at 9 and 9, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Cool. All right, we're now at measure number 33. More sliding, we've seen this all before. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, after that, we're going to get this C sharp minor 7 chord, okay? So you are going to do a full bar here onto the 4th fret, and your 2nd finger is going to get this this note here on the 2nd string 5th fret. So you have this on beat, the end of beat number 4. Ooh, that's the one. Okay, so you've come back here to go 4 and 1, and is a hammer on. As you can see, I hammer on my pinky finger here into the 7th fret. So I have to hammer on, I would say practice individual hammering before you do the bar. Practice that from your 2nd to the 4th finger, and then practice doing the hammer on with your bar. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. So you have this on 4, 4, 5, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, after that, we're going to go back into 1st position, and we're going to use our thumb here on the 2nd fret. So thumb, and then 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers here to do this F sharp minor 7 chord, okay? Yeah, so here we go at measure number 36. So you're tied over, and it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, yeah, you don't need a bar here. Important here, what's happened is for these 2 measures, there's no... just this measure, there's no slap on beat number 3. I don't know why, it's just his stylistic choice. So you've had this, and 2 and 3. You're going to hammer on because, super important here to be using a thumb. You're going to hammer on here from on your 2nd string, from your 2nd to 3rd fret with your 3rd and 4th fingers. 3 and 4 and... All right. This is 2, 2, and 3. I'm still not sure. Yeah. Yeah, use your strong fingers here. There's no need to use the pinky finger, okay? So you've got measure 33, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So as you see, what we've done here is we've moved up from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret, but we use the same fingering, okay? Your 1st and 2nd and 3rd fingers were on the 5th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and they move up now to the 4th fret. Okay, so you have and 2 and play the open 1st string, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4th fret, 3 and 4. Alright, so on the end of this beat, you're going to get 5, 5, 6, and 5, D minor 7 with a little bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so what you've seen here is I'm just doing some strumming and some slaps, except I get to play the open string. I get to play 2 open strings actually. I play the 4th string and then the 6th string open. Alright, the reason why is because the very, very last measure of the pre-chorus before we enter into the chorus theme is I'm going to do some slides. So I slide from 8 to 9, like that, quickly on the 4th and the 2nd strings. And then I do a quick slide, so I end up at 6 and 5, and then I do 7, 7, and 9, 9. Alright. The last measure of the pre-chorus is a little bit tricky rhythmically. It has to be like this. 1, 2, and then the triplet quarter note just means that all of these notes are evenly. 3, 4, and that's it. Okay? There we go. Alright, so that's it for the pre-chorus. Let's have a closer look at the chorus. Now we're going to learn the chorus, and the chorus starts up at the 9th fret. This chord here, okay? So you've got one finger over here on the 7th fret, and then 2 other fingers here on the 9th fret. 1st finger, 3rd, and 4th finger. Okay, so very straightforward rhythmically. You're going to start off with that, and then the next chord is this A7 chord. Your 2nd finger takes the spot here on the 8th fret. So let's look at that with the rhythm. You have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and sweet. Alright, so that ties over into the first beat of the next measure. So you're gonna have and 2 and 3. So as you see on 2, I hit. You can mute here if you like with your 1st finger. And 2 and 3, and on beat number 3 I pluck the 5th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. Alright, so I move up to 10 and then 12, and the rhythm here is kind of like that triplet rhythm, except I have to hit on beat number 4. So let's go back to the start of the chorus. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and close enough. Alright, sweet. So we moved up to 12 here. Now we need to do 9, 10, and 9. I always mix these up. This is 9, 10, and 9. It's still a D major shape. And you're going to get the 4th string with your thumb. Okay? So, and then after that you'll see there's 9, 10, 9, and then 7 will be done with your 1st finger. You have to find a way to mute the strings. I guess you can mute them with your thumb as you slap. That's kind of what I do. But you can try to mute them with any of your free fingers. 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. I'm not so good at muting like I said before, but there is a way to mute them. And when you see Sungha using extra fingers up here, but they're not necessarily pushing down, it's because they're being used to mute something. Okay, so we have this 9, 10, and 9. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Alright, so now we're on to measure number 4. As I said here, we're going here at the your 1st finger is here on the 1st string, 7th fret. And then these two are 2 9s here, 9 and 9 on the 3rd and 2nd strings. So you've tied over, and 3, and 4, on beat and of number 3, you slide quickly from 10 to 12. And then your slap on beat number 4 gets you to get this B minor 7 chord with the bar. Oh, it's just B minor actually. So you have your 7th bar and then your pinky finger over here on the first string. After it's slid up to 12, 10 to 12, you have to come back to 10. Okay, let's do it from, yeah, let's just keep going on. So we've slid over 1 and 2 and, all right, the next part here, when it's 9 to 10 to 9, I haven't really found a way. I think the best way to do it is to slide with your 3rd finger because it's stronger. The other thing you can do is slide and then pull off, but it takes a little bit more dexterity. I think what Sungha Jung is really just slide and slide back, but you'll have to practice and see if you like to do it with your 4th or your 3rd finger better. We're going to do it with our 4th fingers. So we have this tied over, and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I did here is I went back to my position where I have this into the 9th fret and then this over the 7th fret. All right, so after that I'm back over into the measure number 47. So I've gone, as you see here, when you're slapping and your harmony is, you have a lot of open strings here, you want to try to get these 2 fingers here, which are going to be at 9 and 9. Get them a little bit early so they will help you with the muting. Like that. Sweet. Alright. Next I'm at measure number 47 here. So I'm going to go slide from 9 to 10 quickly. And then I'm going to get my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers here at the 9th and the 10th fret. So I have 1, 2, and 3. Slide from 10 to 12. Eesh, too far. And then, yeah, I messed it up again. And then this is 9, 10, and 9, which we just visited, this D major shape, except now you get to use your thumb on the 5th string. Okay, so let's do that measure again. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and sweet. All right, next you slide from 6 to 7. You can use 1 and 2 for this. Whatever you like. Pluck the 2nd string, hit on beat number 4. And next after that, okay, this part here is going to be, you're going to be playing mostly of the time the 5th, 4th, 2nd, and 1st strings. But you're going to have a bar here, the full bar on the 5th fret, and then your 3rd and your 4th fingers are on the 4th and the 2nd strings, okay? So this ties over from the and, sorry, 4 and 1 and 2. As you can see, you're going to slap on beat number 2, brush across the treble strings, and mute the 3rd string. 1 and 2 and. Okay, here's where you have to quickly release your bar to slide from 6 to 7, and then immediately get the bar back again because you're going to do the brush. This part's a little bit tricky, so practice that, sliding and then replacing the bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, next after that, moving on, we're going to slide from 7 to 9. And then slide right back from 9 to 7. As fast as you can, just after slapping. Mute the strings here if you like, with your index finger. So you have 1, 2, and next on beat number 3, you'll recognize these 2 5s and those 2 7s. We've gone back to get our bar here. Alright, so that was on beat number, the end of beat number 4. So we have 4 and, 4 and. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. This one here, as you can see, I've barred the 4th fret, and I'm going to get my 3rd finger onto the 4th string, 6th fret, and my 2nd finger onto the 5th string, 5th fret here. So I have 4 and 1, right, this part here, as I mentioned before, it involves a hammer on with your pinky finger while you simultaneously have a bar. It's a little bit tricky to do that, but you can practice doing the bar. You can practice doing... Actually, just remove the bar entirely. Practice playing your 4th and 3rd strings and hammering on with your pinky finger while your 3rd finger is a little bit here. This is tricky because you don't have that much room, so adjust your wrist accordingly. And then after that, you can practice doing it with the bar. All right, so that's what that is, this quick move here with this quick hammer on here with your pinky finger. So you have this tied over from beat 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Real simple. Hammer on beat number 4 lets us get back to this F sharp 7 chord. So you have 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2 and 3 and slide up to 5, and then on the and of beat number 4 pluck the 5th string open so you can get back to here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So as you see, I've had this. We've seen this before. 2, 2 and 3. 1 and 2. Slap on beat number 2. Mute some stuff over here. 2 and 3 and 4 and then this is 2 coda. That's for the 2nd time that we do the chorus. And 2 and 3 and this you've seen also at the end of the, what was it, the end of the pre-chorus? Up, down, up, mute, mute. And then after that we go up and start our verse number 2. Okay, I want to quickly go back to this and then this part here. So let's go join again at this F sharp 7 chord with the, what is it, 13th or whatever. So we have 1, 2, yeah, like that. All right, so there's 2 different ways that you can do this. I think I showed you the way with the bar, but I want to show you the way with the thumb as well, because you can use your thumb here as this. Thumb, 1st, 3rd, and 2nd fingers with the pinky finger that goes over here. And it's, some of you might prefer this, okay? So you've seen this pinky finger that releases here. So I've got my thumb here, and I'm gonna do this part again with, yeah, so 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Slide up to 5, get your open string, and then back to this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and that's it. Okay, cool. I hope that was clear. Next, we're going to move on to verse number 2. Verse 2, we're going to do it very quickly. As you can see, verse 2 starts off at 7 and 6. It doesn't start off like verse number 1 does. It starts off like the intro. We spend a lot of time here. So you have your pinky finger and your 3rd finger ready to go at the 7th and the 6th fret. So you've gone on beat number 4, the pickup to the verse number 2. You pluck the 1st and the 3rd strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then your thumb goes over here. I hope that's clear. So this is beat number 4. You pluck the 5th and the 4th strings, brush across on beat number 2, pluck the 5th and the 2nd strings together, pluck the 4th string with your index finger, hit, and when you hit, you slide immediately down to 1st position to get the 5th and the 3rd strings together. When your first finger's over here in 1st position here. 1, and so you have 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Moving on, you've seen all this before. I'm doing this with my thumb, C sharp here. Yeah. Sometimes I try to reach over and get my 3rd finger here on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, but it never really works because then you go to stretch out your 3rd and 4th fingers. So I kind of developed that bad habit. Don't be like me. Don't get any bad habits. All right, so you've moved on here. right, so next after that, we are now in measure number 63. You're going to basically do this variation from it sliding from 4 to 5 back to 4 and then pulling off on the first string. And then you have to do that. And then after that, get your pinky and third fingers over here into the fourth and third strings. Because this is a little bit of a figure that's all by itself, you don't need to try to struggle and get these early. Just finish doing this. 3, 4, and then after that you can get your fingers over here and start off your theme as you've practiced. So it changes slightly here. You have 1 and 2 and 3. On beat end of 3, you slide from 4 to 2. When you slide down, you do a hit, and then you pluck the 5th and the 3rd strings together at that end of beat number 4. If you find that it rings too much, try muting the 4th string when you play that. And 2 and 3. After that, the figure comes back at measure number 64, and then you get this chord, which is 4, 7, and 6. Again, we've seen it already. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Alright, so when you do this, 3 and 4 and, as you can see, I've slid down from... I was up here before. My first finger was here on the 5th string, 4th fret. It's gone over to the 3rd string, slides to 2, and then I get to 1. I get over here to 1. This helps with the muting. The pinky finger over here is going to help mute the 4th string when I slide down there. Let's look at 65, measure number 65. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So super straightforward. I just stayed at 4 and 1 over here. My 4th finger and my index finger. Moving on. So measure number 67. You have to have your thumb here, and the rhythm is a little bit interesting. It starts off like that. So 1, 2. It's like 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and, right? That's what it is at regular speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Alright. Having our thumb here helps us switch over and transition to the next chord at number 68. Measure number 68. Alright, so what we've done here is we've plucked the 3rd and the 4th strings. We have our 2nd and 1st fingers over here, and your thumb conveniently blocking the 6th string. 2. On the end of beat number 2, you're going to do a quick hammer on with your 3rd finger here. And then you're going to get the 3rd string again, and then hit, and then pluck the 4th and the 3rd strings. When you pluck the 4th and the 3rd strings on the end of beat number 4, you can release the thumb. And then after that, you're going to do a slidey thing that finishes the end of the 2nd verse. And then you finish the verse as you normally would finish. I hope that was clear, and I've been saying that a lot. So let's do this. From 4 to 2, slide up to 6 and 4, and then it's 4 and 2 again, and it slides like this. When you slide, you're also going to pluck, so you don't need to kind of do the same kind of slide as you would do here. It doesn't have to be as clean. You just slide your 1st finger back, and then your 2nd finger replaces that note on the 4th string. Okay, that was enough for about the explaining, so we're going to do the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... We've seen all of this before. Okay, great. Yeah, that's verse number 2. practice it at the speed, at slow speed first. Practice your slides individually, and then bring up the speed. And it should sound, hopefully, something like that. Okay, that's verse number 2, and next goes the pre-chorus 2. Okay, the second pre-chorus that we're going to look at is similar to the first, but there are some slightly differences. It's very short. We're not going to explain that again. We're going to go to this part here. Once you've finished doing this, and then you've gone to this 4, 6, 0, and 4. You're going to have a slight variation on the harmonics. 1 and 2 and 3, and then you have 7, 7, 12, and then you have 7, 7, 5. So you have to, I actually think this is very, very tricky to get the harmonics to sound clean, but you have 7, 7 on the first and the second string after that, and then 5 has to sound on the first string. I find this harmonic very, very tough to get clean. So you can try practicing doing it with a different finger. I'm not sure. Once after you've done the harmonic part, okay, that sounded pretty good. Once you finish doing that harmonic part, you slide back again. Keep doing this part, and then the next chord that you're going to get, we've looked at this at 9, 0, and 9. What you have to do, I'll just explain, and then I'll do that measure. You're going to come back to 6 and 5, and then you have to slide your 6th fret note is going to be done with your second finger, and then your 5th fret note is going to be done with your first finger. You have to slide back your first finger to the 4th fret, so it slides from 5 to 4, and then it pulls off the open strings. Okay, so it does that 3 times. You can also pluck the first string. I think that sounds cleaner. We're gonna go with the pluck option. Okay, so you slide from 5 to 4 and then pluck the first string open. As you pluck the first string open, you release everything else. After that, the very last one is pull off from 7 to 5 and then get the 6th fret note on the 3rd string. Looking at that with the rhythm, comes out to something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 come to 6 and 5, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, I should have done it like this. Your 6th fret note is going to be done with your 3rd finger. Yeah, like that, exactly. Pull off from 7 to 5 with your pinky finger, and then your 3rd finger goes over there. And then you're back to doing the slides. That's the only difference in pre-chorus number 2, okay? Are those parts there. So let's go to measure number 72, and we're gonna explain it from there if you need to insert it correctly. So we have measure number 72. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, your harmonics. All right, next we have 1 at measure number 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and this is where you slide back here. 7 to 5, and then pull off. Great. And then after that, the rest of the pre-chorus is the same as the previous pre-choruses. Okay. After that, you have DS-Al coda. So the DS-Al coda just means that you need to repeat the chorus. And then after that, you go to the coda sign, which will take you to the middle 8. Let's go look at the middle 8 with a little bit more detail. Okay, once you finish doing your chorus, you're going to quickly strum 2 times on a muted part, and then you're going to get this D major 7 chord. I still haven't decided if it's another pre-chorus or if it's just a middle 8. I'm just going to call it the bridge because it's pretty different from the pre-chorus, but even though harmonically it's the same. So, D major 7, you have a full bar here at the 5th fret, and then you have 7, 6, and 7 with your 3rd, 2nd, and 4th fingers, and then that's it. Okay, so we have 1 and a 2. This is how you're going to strum it. Down, down, up, down. And then after that comes this fast pentatonic part. 5, 9, stretch, 5, 9, 7, 6, 5, 7, 5, 9. Then it's pull off from 9 to 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, pull off on the 2nd string, 7, 5, and then it's 7, 6, pull off, 7, 6, and then 7 with slide back. Alright, so follow along with the tabs there. 5, 9, 5, 9, thank you. 7, 6, 5, 7, 5, 9. Pull off. 7, 5, pull off. 7, 5, pull off 7 to 6, 7, 6, and then slide back. Alright, now as you can see, I've been playing every single string individually like this. What Sungha does is, with his fingernail, he does sort of like a down, as if he were using a pick. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then when there's a pull off, it's just down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Okay, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. If you are talented and good at using your finger as a pick like this, it's extremely fast because it's like as if you're using a pick. But I'm better at just using my fingers, and I cheat on the first part by doing a hammer-on on 5 to 9, like that, doing a lot of hammer-ons. But if you want everything to sound clean and individual, you can try doing the picking thing, like this. The picking, it's just basically straight down and up. Alternate picking. So that's that part. Practice that a bunch of times. Then after that, move on to the next part. This C sharp minor 7 chord, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4. And next you have 4, 7, 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, 7. Then after that, you have a pull off 7 to 4. Pull that off. 5, 4, 5. This is the tricky part. You have to slide from 7 and then replace that with your sort of a hammer on with your pinky finger. Right? Then after that, 6, pull off to 4, 6, 4, 6, and drop. So let's do that again. Down, down, up, down. 4, 7, 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, 7. Then pull off 7 to 4, 5, 4, 5. Reach over with your 3rd finger. 7, slide to 6, 7, pull to 6 to 4, 6, 4, 6, and back. Again, with the picking part of, well, I mean, that's the left hand, and then now with the picking part, if you were to do that, it would be just down ups like this. Down, and then down up. After the C sharp minor chord and the following scale pattern, you move to B minor 7. And you're going to have down, up, down, up, down. Actually, it's the same strumming for the C sharp minor. It's only the first one where you go down, down, up, down. So the rest of them are like that. Down, down, up, down. Okay, so that's straightforward. Down, up, down, up, down. And then you have 2, 4, 2, 0, 2, hammer on to 3. 4th string, and then 2nd string. Okay, cool. Next after that, we're going to move on to measure number 93. Okay, something like that. So what you do now is you have, at measure 93, you're going to have an E major chord. You get your third finger onto the C sharp on the second string, second fret, and then you pluck the sixth and the second strings together. 1, 2, and then get the sixth, third, and second strings together. So 1, 2, and 3, and slap. And then on the end of beat number 4, you're going to do this hammer on here on the second string, hammer for 0 to 2, and then your second finger stays on the third string, second fret. And then you basically have an A major chord. Okay, so you have 1 and 2 and... Alright, next after that, you have 2 to 3. The basic way that you can do that, I would let go of the A major chord, and then you have 2, and then 3, and then you slide to 5. And then after that, you need to immediately get back to the second fret. So you have 3 and 4, and that's how that works. Okay, once you've got this A7 chord, this is 0, 0, 2, and then first string open, 1, and slap, and then you next have to go from 2 to 2, 4 to 4, and then 5 to 6, and then you're back to doing this D major 7 chord. Okay, so let's look at the starting from measure number 93, and we're going to do it with the rhythm. Excuse me. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and slide, A7 chord, and 2, and 3, 4, and... yeah. Okay, cool. When you do this, there's a couple different ways that you can do either your 5 and your 6. As you see, I need to do my D major 7 chord. I need 7, 6, 7, and then the bar and the 5. But it's very difficult for me to get my bar. It's possible, but it's a little bit difficult, I find, to get 4, 4, and then get the bar like this. I would rather do 4, 2, 4, and then as you saw, I've got this third finger here on the third string, 6th fret, and this second finger on the 5th string, 1st fret. Do that first, and then I can shift these together over 1 fret and up 1 string each, and that way I've got my D major 7 chord. Okay, so now we're at measure number 96, and we have, first we have some slides from 7 to 9 and back to 7. And then we have a quick slide from 3 to 4 that you're going to do with your first finger. And then you have 5, 7, slide back again from 3 to 4. And then you have a quick, this is 5, 6, 7, slide back to 6, and then 4. Let's do it again with the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then this. Okay, so the only basic thing that you need to know about is this sweeping across the triplet from 5, 6, and 7. It's a little bit too difficult to arpeggiate. So Sungha Jung, what he does is when you've got these two together, he does the action where you pretend that you're using a pick with your right hand. So you pick, 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 and then slide back across these, and then your 4th finger slides back 1 fret, and then you play the 4th string like that with your hand going down like this. So you have different options that you can explore for the right hand finger for this part. But the big thing is the sweeping across the second, third, and 4th strings, and then sliding quickly back from 7, 6. Okay, once we've done that, we have another down, down, up, down, but you can see I have a power chord. Oh gosh, I have a power chord form here, so I've got 4 and 6, and I'm muting the other strings with my fingers. Okay, so that's what you want to do there. You want to mute and then hit those. After that, I've got the same C sharp approach, pentatonic scale lick. 4, 7, 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, 7. and then there's other stuff that happens there. Now, quickly review for this pattern. Down, up, down, down, up, down, and then up, down, up, down, up. You can easily use that for all of those. Next, after that, the variation here, you have 6, 5, 7, 7. So you have 6 done with your third finger, 5 with your middle, 7, 7 with the pinky, and then third finger, and then 3. So 3, this is here on the 3rd fret. You're going to slide back to 2 and then get the 3rd string open. Like that. So you've got your... And then 6, 5, 7, 7. Slide from 3 to 2 and then 0. Next, this is the time that the open string is going to you get this B minor 7 chord. Okay? So we've got, we're going to start up from that last measure. So we have 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and a 3, and 4. Okay, and the rhythm is basically for that. Down, 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 up, down, down, hit. The hit means that you have to switch and then go to this next minor chord. So really straightforward, starting from measure number 100, okay? Yeah, 100. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, and 2, and a 3, 4. I didn't explain this. You might have seen I've got a quick hammer on here from 5 to 7 on beat number 3. So practice your hammer on and then practice it with the chord. We've seen those before. So yeah, moving on. Hit. Now D minor 7, 5, 7, 5, 6, and 5. 1, and 2, and a 3, and 4. Now, okay, these two empty ghost strums are for when you're going to, when you're going to do these two empty strums, you need to get to this power chord pattern. This is the E, open E power chord, 7, 9, and 9, okay? And then you have 2 mutes, and then you just have a bunch of 16th notes. Down, up, 4, mutes, down, up, and then a hit. That's it. Okay, let's go from measure 102. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. And then we have 6 and 5, 7, and then slide to 9 and 9. Okay, one more time. This is the very end of the middle 8. So D minor 7, 1, and 2, and a 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's time to do the final chorus. Okay, so for the final chorus and the outro, they're so similar that I'm only going to explain what happens in the different parts. So the only difference that you have to do in the final chorus happens at measure number 1010. So you've started off your chorus normally. All this part, and then it's when you get to this chord. This is at 9, 10, and 10. This is at measure number 110. You have just a triplet pattern, and then it sends you back to this A chord, okay? So you have slide from 9 to 10. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and that's the triplet. And then you're back to doing the rest of the chorus as you normally would. Ouch. All that. Okay, once you finish doing that, the outro part, which happens at measure number 118, this starts as you would start up verse number 2, okay? So this is at 7, 6, and then going to 1 here. And then this is as the verse would go. No surprise here. Okay, here's where the difference happens. The very last line of the outro. So this is at measure number 125. So you have 1 and 2. On beat number 2, you're going to slide after that from 2 to 4. Play the 6th string open. Slide from 3 to 2. And then you're going to strum and hit the 1st strings open. And then you get the 5th string by itself. And then the ending is you have a hammer on into this A major chord. Okay, 2, 2, and 0 to 2. Hit. Get an A major 7 chord. And then the ending happens at A major 7 again, but up into the 4th position. Okay, so maybe try doing the hammer on here with your pinky finger because you have a little bit more room. And then that you don't have to move the 2nd finger here on the 4th string. And the last chord is 7, 6, and then 4. Okay, so starting from measure 25 again, if we do the rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then your last chord. Okay, and that's the end of waiting. Alright, well that's it for this tutorial of Waiting by Sungha Jung. If you found this tutorial useful and you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, sign up to my mailing list on my website, where also you will get early access to the tabs because every time a tutorial like this comes out, I send out the tabs to the people on my email list, and then they get to follow along with the printed out PDF tabs that look like this. And then otherwise you have to kind of wait. Sometimes I get a limit for the likes and everything. So subscribe to it. My channel here, go on Facebook, find me there as well. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.